Remember the time, and we can remember the time 25 years ago when LA was ablaze. The Rodney King verdict had just came in, and we were taking inventory as to what has changed since then. I think the biggest change that I can say is that the Clippers are bigger than the Lakers, even though the Clippers look it.
Facts.
The Clippers are better than the Lakers. No one ever thought they'd see that. But I think the demographics have changed. I think that there are more, there's a little more Latin, a little less black, a little less violent, more Asians. I mean, I think the relationship between the Asian community and the black community has kind of gotten a little better. And I think primarily because, the other generations, like we had Latasha Harlins, they would follow you around the store. And plus they realize that we buy a lot of stuff. We buy their liquor, their cigarettes, and their fake hair care products. So we have a symbiotic relationship. Right. I think that it's a less violent city. I think that there's less gang activity. I think that a lot of cities have, just become less violent in terms of the number of violent crimes. But I think what hasn't changed is the way the society, like the primary difference between Rodney King and what happens almost every other month where somebody's accosted and beaten by the police is high def. I think that you see it's not a grainy footage. Now you see it clear. And we have Facebook and we have social media. But in terms of the way, the attitudes that people have, accountability is not for police departments. Apparently, accountability is only for people who are shot by police. They're the only ones who are ever held accountable. And I've never seen so many people be complicit in their own demise. Like they're being charged with their own murder, whether they're armed or not. And I think the attitude, people that watch that tape or watch that young man get shot in Minnesota or watch somebody get shot or choked to death, there is always this pervasive attitude like they deserve it. Like, I don't think a large percentage of this country has seen a black man or a woman be violently attacked by police or die at the hands of the police and not in the back of their mind think this is natural, this is the way things ought to be. We look targeted. I think that attitude hasn't changed. Los Angeles Police Department is still the most violent police department in the country. You're still more likely to be shot by the police if you are mentally handicapped. If you are, like, the best way to get shot by the police practically anywhere is to be in emotional or mental distress. Because they don't come with help, they come with bullets. That's just how it goes. I think that we want to become a better city. I think that we have video cams now, but people have seen those same video cams, or whether it was a video cam or handheld camcorder, people have seen those same images and not been able to place any kind of responsibility on people that are wearing the police. But I don't care if it's Walter Scott, he's running from the police, you see him. People just don't see when they do something wrong to black people, it being wrong. They just can't see it. So 25 years has told us, like, virtually the same conditions existed from the 60s when they had a large riot. We have quelled the violence. Look, we're not as much violent, but the same circumstances, the high unemployment rate, the low education, the same sense of hopelessness in the inner cities that kind of propagated those riots still exist now. So it's like gasoline on a low boil. All it takes is a match. And I think that's the truth of all. So what people, they think quiet is the result of something effective happening. Quiet is just people resting up. Quiet, it's always quiet. It's always darkest before the dawn. It's always quiet before a riot. I mean, I think until we start dealing with the situations that cause these kinds of attitudes to foment, it will always happen.